Hey. How's it going? This video is going to be fairly relaxed from an editing point of view, but for the sake of having something on the screen, I'm going to play some OpenRA June 2K, and you can enjoy how bad I am at it.
Yes, I know it's under attack.
Okay, so if you're wondering where the next review is, it's on its way. At time of scripting and recording this, I actually don't know if the next video is done or not, but I wanted to make sure that this is recorded and up in time. If the next review is out by now, then excellent, I'm very glad. If not, then I'm sorry, and I hope to get it out as soon as possible. So, provided that this released in time, today marks exactly 1 year since the first review of the channel went live, and I figured it might be nice to just throw together a little recap update video thing, especially when, since looking back at the channel as a whole, I can't help but feel that the quality level of some of those videos has maybe ping-ponged around a lot. Even just looking back at the recent Stowaway video, I'm actually really unhappy with the audio quality of the voiceover in that video, and I've contemplated pulling it and redoing it several times this week. It will probably be a video that gets remade at some point. And I know that some of that is probably creators' hatred for past works, but regardless of where exactly my self-criticism is coming from, it's an element to my process that only seems to be growing as time goes on. If I can say anything about the last 12 months in terms of the quality of the channel, turbulent is probably the best way I would describe it. The audio in some of those videos is all over the place, and it really bothers me. But instead of dwelling on that, I'd like to first talk about what I have planned for the near future, and for starters, I want to talk about video requests. Specifically, those that seem to crop up more than once. You may not know this, but since the channel's inception, I have kept a massive log of requests and ideas for future videos. And right off the bat I can tell you I've received multiple requests to review Aliens vs Predator 2, Return of the Obra Dinn, Detention, Mad Father, Too Dark, and maybe Area 51 Black Site. And honestly, looking through all of these, I really don't see why these can't all be reviewed in the future. I'm definitely planning to review Detention at some point soon. It's easily my most requested by far, but I guess what I'm also trying to say is that if there is something you want to see me cover, please go ahead and suggest it. I want to make a conscious effort of balancing requests with curveballs a lot more in the next year, which also brings us neatly along to the second point of this video. Time. Naive and dumb as this might sound, never in my adult life have I ever truly valued time as much as I have this last year. And yeah, I went to college and I've worked in positions that required time management and all that crap, but focusing on this has been a completely different beast of an experience when considering the minuscule amount of time I've had compared to what I would like to have. Time to think about what to work on, to write the next script, to squeeze in audio or video editing, time to sit down and play something that will then hopefully turn into a review. Or if it turns out to not be the case, accepting that I've effectively wasted hours that could have been used on something else. And then there's the fuck-ups, the videos that I mentioned previously that I'm not entirely happy with anymore. And believe me, there's more than a few. I've touched on this before on Twitter, but I would actually really like to look at remaking a few of the older reviews someday, but in order for me to do that, I would need more time so that it doesn't then interrupt the already very sparse schedule. Stuff like Something's in the Sea, Death and Taxes, 237, or hell even Misao and Night in the Woods. I have problems with all of those videos, so possibly remaking them is always on my mind. Death and Taxes has since had some Halloween updates, which would make a lot of sense to include, but honestly, I don't know, so let me know what you think about it.
No. Fucker. Stop breaking my shit.
Thirdly on the list of shit to cover is what's coming next. I've already mentioned that there will be a review coming out very soon hopefully, and since this is a bit of an anniversary cop-out video that isn't actually a review, I will say that it's Lost Planet. It should be out hopefully very soon. I also would like to tell you about a review that is coming out in September that is very important to me. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, because the sheer fucking pressure of this thing is already plenty enough without knowing that people might be expecting it, or dare I say even look forward to it. But I will say that this review is probably going to be my longest to date, and I hope will be my best work to date. This is again part of the reason why you might have seen me bitching about audio quality on Twitter. I've been trying to refine my process and get it as good as it can be. And as it's going to be a long one, it does mean that I'll probably end up being AWOL again for a while. I hope everyone can understand that and that it's okay. Alright, so I get that putting in a fucking Q&A when the channel is still really small might seem a little obnoxious, but I've noticed a few recurring questions peppered throughout this last year, so I figured, why the hell not answer some of them? A few folks have also kindly offered some questions from Twitter and the like, so let's get into them. Question 1. How do you choose what game to cover? Or where do you find them? This is one that I've had pop up a few times, and you can probably find my previous responses in comments of other videos, but to answer it on a broader scale, a lot of my more obscure indie reviews are typically the result of just sifting through page after page on Steam, GOG, itch or abandonware sites while looking for something interesting. Although obviously you do get the more mainstream stuff like Sanitarium, Doom 3, Carrion, Night in the Woods, and I guess Lost Planet, most of which I know from having played them in the past or by reputation. But if I suddenly find something weird or unknown and it grabs me, I'm gonna talk about it. And that's never gonna change. No matter where this thing goes, if it gets traction or doesn't get traction, there will always be the weird oddities because they're fun and I like to talk about them. Question 2. What other channels or creators have inspired you to review games? This one is easy. Mandalore, Grimbeard, and Jordan Underneath, who now goes by the name of Jordan Go to Sleep. I have immense respect for these 3 creators, and I can honestly say that I would not be doing this without them having inspired me in the first place. Question 3. Luke Anderson asks, what made you start your channel to begin with? Congrats of the anniversary. Thank you. Honestly, it started out as a completely different idea to what I'm doing now. Those who might be familiar with the channel at the very beginning might remember a horror short story that I had posted, which for now has been made private because in all honesty the quality is fucking terrible. It was basically a creepypasta that never actually made it onto creepypasta, but I wanted it out there in the world at the time, so I decided to record the whole thing, slap some original ambient stuff on there, and boom, the first video. And yeah, technically that means that the year anniversary was before the 15th, but the review video game essay thing has completely taken over, so Some Things in the Sea ended up becoming the true starting point, and the rest of the channel kind of just cemented that idea. I might start to release original horror stuff again one day. I love to write within that genre and I do want to pursue it, but for now I really don't have the time. Question 4. Emil Johannesson Levin asks, are there some games that you want to cover but haven't dared to, or just don't feel ready for yet? Yeah, 100%. Dune 2K is actually one of them, and I would really love to cover some other RTS stuff in the future. I grew up playing a ridiculous amount of Total Annihilation, CNC Red Alert 2, Emperor Battle for Dune, so probably some of those. As for stuff I haven't felt ready to yet, I'd say it's because I've been trying to, again, refine my process before jumping into a title that really means something to me. When I finish that video, I don't want to look back in 6 months' time and regret it. For example, Zone of the Enders and its sequel both fit into that category. Those games mean the fucking world to me, for reasons I will get into when the time comes. Question 5. Game Master asks 2 questions. When are you going to review The Glass Staircase, or Brigand Oxacana? Will it be now, or else I will find you? And also, when are you going to let me out of the cage so I can breathe on you? The Glass Staircase will probably be in the next few months. I really love the look of virtually anything Puppet Combo puts out there, so it's really just a matter of whether or not that review will then clash with the September project or not. Also, I know I said I'd let you out, but then I kind of lost the key, and calling any form of the authorities to explain it just doesn't appeal to me, so you're stuck there for now, I'm so sorry. Question 6. Melon asks, what's the game you would love to cover the most? What's the proverbial big one? Now see, I know you know the answer to this, you sneaky bastard. It's coming out in September, and that's all I'm going to say because it's going to probably drive me insane. That being said, a few other titles I would really like to cover, but also kind of scare the hell out of me, would probably be Abe's Odyssey, The Last of Us, Alien Isolation, Shadow of the Colossus, and maybe the original Final Fantasy VII. I love all of those games very much, it's just a case of whether or not I can bring something original to that conversation. Okay, that pretty much wraps everything up. All that's left is for me to say the most important thing. Thank you. From the bottom of my transparent heart, if you've watched and enjoyed anything on the channel, thank you so much. This has been without a doubt my greatest hobby, and it's amazing to think that a few people around the world actually enjoy watching what gets put out there. I'm sorry that it's taking me longer than usual to get stuff released, but the fact that you're sticking around waiting for it is kind of crazy to me. So again, thank you. Stay safe and healthy. I love you all, and I will see you soon.
Fuck. I'm screwed. Run! You're the only one left. Get out of there!
Unit lost.
Damn it.
Unit lost. Your mission is a failure.